So hello, welcome back to a new video here on our Tradeciety YouTube channel or wherever you are watching it. And I asked yesterday around if you have any questions, especially on Facebook and social media. I asked, shoot me your trading questions and I will make a video about it. And so here we go. I found 8 very important things and questions that always kept coming up. So I decided to make a video about very important tips and things that not only help me in my trading, but also which helped our students improve their trading. So the first is people always have problems staying in profitable trades. They often cut their winning trades too short, or they let their losers run too long because their hope price will turn around. Or on the other hand, they have FOMO and enter trades too early. They chase price. And the biggest thing that will make a big difference in your trading is you need to reduce screen time. Screen time and sitting in front of your charts is not going to help you make better trading decisions. It will just enforce and make the bad trading behavior much more prominent, much more dangerous for you. So reduce your screen time. For me and for my students, I always say, don't look at charts in between the candles. So for example, if you trade a 4-hour candle, only make a trading decisions every 4 hours. Don't look at the charts and at the candles in between. If you trade a daily chart, only look at the daily close. If you trade a 1 hour, only look at the 1 hour close. Close your trading platform in the meantime. Don't look at charts. And this is a very, very good way of reducing all the emotional problems that come with it. Then it a little bit ties in with the previous plan. Many people have problems organizing themselves and also staying away from charts and still staying on top of things. Missing trades is often a big problem and not really being organized enough. So 2 things that I really stress and really think that are worth having. I would never trade without a trading plan, for example. So every Saturday and Sunday, I sit down, I write down for every pair, every Forex pair that I trade, every futures commodity that I trade, the levels that I'm watching, when I want to get in, what is signaling a good trade entry for me, what has to happen before I will enter a trade, and also on the other hand, very important, what will happen that cancels my trade idea when I'm staying out of the market. And trading plans or watch lists, whatever you call it, is very, very important so that you know when to get into a trade, when you stay out of the trade, and how you behave and react to price movements. Second with that is also price alerts. I use price alerts everywhere. I set them at important price levels, support and resistance breaks, moving averages, trend lines, whatever it is, previous highs and lows. Price alerts really help you and help me, for example, also reduce the screen time but still stay on top of things, not miss anything, and that is very, very important. Focus on one pattern is the number 3, which means that many traders, they are all over the place, especially in the beginning. They don't really understand where they should have their focus on, what should their trading be like. So they have different ways of trying to find trades, which means essentially that they're just all over the place. They're just trying to chase price. But what I did in the beginning, I focused on one pattern only. So for example, whatever it is, look and focus on the head and shoulders, or look and focus on support and resistance breakout trading, for example, and really only focus on one thing and only this one pattern. Try to become really the master of it. Try understand every little nuance and every little detail. What happens or what does a good head and shoulders look like? What is the difference between a good one and a mediocre one? What are the differences between how the shoulders form? What is the difference between the size of the neckline or the size of the shoulders and the size to the head? What is a good neckline break? How does a good neckline break look like? Or if you trade, for example, breakout trading, how do you look for breakout structures? What is a good support and resistance? What is a bad support and resistance? How do good breakouts look like? What is the confirmation you need around those breakouts? And really only look at and focus on one pattern at a time, especially in the beginning. This is so important. Blur out all the noise. Forget what everybody else is telling you. Just look at one pattern, try to master it. You will quickly see that if you just follow this one thing, and everything that you do on your charts is that you try to look for those really good patterns. You try to understand, get an understanding what a good pattern is for you. And this will help you become a much, much better trader, because suddenly you will start noticing those little details, those little nuances about momentum, volatility differences, differences in time of day, for example, open and closing time. And those things you can only pick up once you focus on one thing, blur out all the noise, and then over time you can of course add new patterns and different patterns. But at the beginning, if you are still struggling, if you're looking for consistency, then focus on one pattern at a time, and this will make a huge impact. Don't use break-even stops. I always get crucified for that, but break-even stops are absolutely useless. The only thing that break-even stops signal for 99% of all the traders, if you are one of those traders that said, oh no, my break-even stops are good, I use them because they really have a goal, and I have tested them, then that's okay. But for 99% of all the traders who use break-even stops, it is just an excuse to get the stop loss to break even, to get a risk-free trade. But there's nothing that is risk-free in trading. Even if your stop is at break even, the price is in your favor, you're still risking your unrealized profits. You're always risking something. A break-even stop is just a shortcut to take away some of your emotions, but it's not a good place to have a stop loss, because usually a break-even point or the break-even point of your entry means absolutely nothing to the market. Instead, use structures in your stop loss placement, such as support and resistance, previous highs and lows, moving averages. Just avoid break-even stops. They're just so bad, and they're a pure sign that you're trading emotional. You just don't want to lose a trade, and it has nothing to do with reacting to the market and the price action. Avoid performance goals, very important. Many traders always ask me, how much money can I make in a month or a year? And of course the answer is, I don't know, I don't care. Risk and return go hand in hand. So if you want to have a higher return, you need to ramp up your risk. Of course, then the risk of blowing up will also increase. And at the same time, you can never control how much you are taking out of the market. You will never know how many trades will I get this week or this day, and how will those trades that I get play out. Maybe the market is not in a good phase for your specific system. If you are a trend trader, maybe the trends, they're not really lasting. Maybe you get a lot of failed breakouts, and in such periods, obviously, the performance will look very different, whereas when you compare to a market where you have a lot of trending action. So performance goals, very bad, have to be avoided at all costs, because in the end, what they do is just they pressure you to take trades to get to this specific goal. Or on the other hand, if you have a good market period, you easily reach your performance goal, then you scale back your trading activity, you sit back, and then you miss a lot of profits, which is also very bad. One good trade is all you really need. This is something so important, and I try to instill this in all of our students. If you are a day trader, just focus on getting one excellent, great, amazing trade per day. If you're a swing trader, one good trade every 2 or 3 days is all you really need. Avoid all the noise, avoid forcing trades, avoid, I often see it in our students when they are new, they always try to get into a trade because they think they are traders, so they really need to trade. But in the end, that's not really what the job description of a trader is. Instead, just focus on making one good trade a week or a day, and reduce all the noise. Don't take all the trades that you know you should not be taking. One good trade is really all you need, and over the long term it will make such a big impact, not only on your performance but also how you view your charts. You know you only have one bullet, so you really need to use it wisely. Don't use it for those bad trades where you know actually that's not a trade, that's just me acting stupid and wanting to get a trade. Wait for this one trade, and this will make a big impact. Walk away when you feel irritated. This means I often get the question, I always feel bad after a losing trade, and I often revenge trade. How do I overcome that? And the easiest way to overcome that, obviously, is that you just separate yourself from your trading platform, close your computer and do something else. If you are out in the woods, or if you're out reading a book, if you're in the gym or whatever, then you obviously can take a trade and you get a lot of different perspective. You will see that after a few hours, when you come back to your charts after a bad trade, things will look very different. You don't feel this emotional irritation anymore. You don't feel the pressure anymore to make up for the loss. Right now, in a book that is called The Art of Learning by Josh Waitzkin, he calls it mental flushing, where he was a professional chess player, one of the best. And what he did after when he felt irritated and emotionally very on the edge, He did something completely different, usually something related to a physical activity, running up the stairs, doing some push-ups or whatever it is, but it really helps you to get a different perspective. To put things into perspective, one losing trade is really nothing. It does not mean anything. If you are in it for the long term, you want to trade for the next 10, 20, 30 years, letting one losing trade lead to another losing trade, lead to another losing trade, and get into the spiral of revenge trading is really, really a sign that you are not there yet as a professional trader. You are still a complete amateur who's just trying to get back to green. That's not how it works. And walk away when you feel irritated is just a very good tip, I think. Don't look for a high win rate. Perfectionism and trading is not something that matches. The more you look for a perfect system, the more you will screw up as a trader. It's just a fact. Instead of trying to look for a high win rate system and always trying to look at your last losing trade and think, how could I have avoided this losing trade? Maybe I use a different indicator, a different setup, a different time frame, a different signal, or whatever it is. Look at how you can let your winning trades run, cut your losing trades early, and learn how to deal with a lower win rate. Even a win rate of 50% is very, very profitable if you can let your winning trades run, you cut your losing trades accordingly, and that is just so important. Don't try to perfect the system, it's not going to work. I promise you that. I will sign that every day of the week. Instead, learn to deal with a low win rate system and look at how you can let your winning trades run and look how you can cut your losing trades short. And that's it already with my 8 tips. I think they are very, very valuable. Make sure that you watch this video maybe again. Think about what I have told you, look at where you have struggles right now yourself, and then over time you can incorporate one point after the other and so improve your trading one by one. And I'm very, very sure that this will make a big impact if you just listen and try to use some of those tips in your trading. Thank you again for watching. Thank you also for sending in your questions. I look forward to hearing from you in the comments below. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. And until then, I wish you a great trading day and see you in the next video.